Fernando and I were both going to Hillsong in London when we met, and then we got married and still lived in London for a bit, and then we moved back to New Zealand 6 years ago. Initially we didn't try to have children because we wanted to, work life out and make sure that we had jobs and things that would help us to have a family. So we waited, but then probably we had been trying for 4.5 years before anything happened. So obviously that was quite a long time to be waiting, especially as we were getting older. When we decided we did want to start having children, obviously at that time you just assumed that it could happen any time, but it didn't for us, and so we'd sort of decided that we didn't have the money to pay for something like IVF, and obviously that would be probably the best way to go. So we just sort of carried on, and I kept praying that God would do a miracle, because God's a miracle worker. So I just prayed, well, God, you can do anything, and that didn't happen, but I think I still had faith that God would do something. Or I also had to be prepared that maybe we weren't going to have children and that would be okay too. All along I was thinking, well, God, you can do a miracle, we can get pregnant naturally. So I happened to be walking around the Mount one day and bumped into a family friend of ours, and we were just chatting about trying to get pregnant and the fact that IVF was too expensive for us, and we were just praying that we could get pregnant naturally and all that sort of thing. And so that happened, and I chatted to her, and then about 2 weeks later I actually saw her again, and she said that her and her husband had prayed about it since we'd spoken, and they felt that they would like to give us the money to pay to be able to do IVF, which was just amazing really. That's not what I ever expected, and definitely not the miracle I ever expected. So we started the IVF journey around the same time as the team conference at Clare Arnt last year. So it was a kind of a time where I could have easily sort of gone, it's too stressful, we're doing the process of IVF, I won't go to the team conference. But I just felt like God, said there's no reason why you can't go. So I went to the team conference, and it was funny because with the IVF, it's easy to, as you're going through it, it's easy to still wonder, well, what if someone's given us the money to pay for this now, but what if it doesn't work? The team conference was amazing actually, because I just had a real sense of God saying, I've got this, and that it was okay, that God had it in his hand and I didn't need to worry about it. So it's amazing how at the times when I really needed to know that God was with us and he had it sorted, that I had that real sense of God's peace about it all, knowing that no matter what happens, God's got his hand on it. I think has been a really big thing for me, is knowing that it doesn't matter, even if something hadn't turned out for the best that I thought, that God would have his hand on it and would work for the best. And so obviously now we do have actually a beautiful baby girl who has no problems, which is amazing. And so God has blessed us with this miracle of a baby who is called Zoe, which means life. We are so blessed to have her, and I think that's the overarching thing, is we are so blessed to have this little girl that we know is a real miracle from God.